Darin LaHood, would you care to speak a few minutes about yourself,
Sure.
please, sir?
First of all, David, thank you for having me tonight, and thank you all for being here. I guess you didn't expect this media coverage for your neighborhood association meeting, but we're glad we gave it to you. So anyway, it's good to be here. I want to tell you a little bit about my background. I'm born and raised in Peoria. Actually, I was born and my parents raised me the first couple years on Barker Avenue, and then I lived later on Melrose and also Fredonia. So West Peoria is something that's important to me. Graduated from Spalding High School, attended Loras College in Dubuque, Iowa, went to John Marshall Law School in Chicago. I spent about 8.5 years as a prosecutor. When I got out of law school, I worked in Chicago in the Cook County State's Attorney's Office as a narcotics prosecutor. Came down to Peoria, worked in the Tazewell County State's Attorney's Office as a felony and misdemeanor prosecutor. And then I was a federal prosecutor with the Department of Justice for 4 years in Las Vegas, up until 2005. I've prosecuted over 30 jury trials. I've gotten convictions on over 1,500 criminal cases. Currently, I live in Peoria with my wife, Kristen. We have 3 young boys, 6, 4, and 2. And I'm running for this position for a couple reasons. You know, the first reason is I hate to show people this map, but this is from the Illinois State Police. It shows the crime rate for all 102 counties in the state of Illinois. And if you go to the Illinois State Police website, unfortunately, Peoria County over the last 5 years has the highest crime rate in the state. I'm going to pass that around so that people here can see that. And to me, that's not acceptable. When you look at the fact in 2005, we had 15 murders in Peoria County. 2006, we had 17 murders in Peoria County. 2007, we had 18 murders in Peoria County. Now this year, murders are down a little bit here, but when you look at that crime, that's not acceptable when it comes to having a safe community and what our community has here. You know, we have so many things on the horizon in Peoria. You know, we have, people talk about all the wonderful things. You know, we have our new new 74, we have the riverfront, Caterpillar's doing well, the hospitals. But unless we attract young families to our city, you know, we're not going to go anywhere. And crime is holding us back in a lot of those areas. You know, when a young family's thinking about moving to Peoria, the first place a realtor sends them is Germantown Hills, Morton, and Dunlap. And we have to do something about our crime problem. Just in the last 18 months, think about the things that have been out there. We've had 3 festivals in which they had to tear gas gang members out there. At Steamboat Days, out at the fair, and at Heritage Days at Holy Family. We've had people robbed on the golf course at Madison and Newman. We've had, we just had a woman that was raped under the Bob Michael Bridge downtown. We've had Agatushi's was burglarized for the first time in their history. Tretzker's Bakery was burglarized for the first time in their history. We've had 2 murders in Rolling Anchors. This is all over our city and our county, and we have to do something differently. And what I tell people all the time is, the people that know the state's attorney position the best is law enforcement. And I'll tell you, I'm very honored and grateful to be the challenger and to have every police department in this county endorse me. Every single one, including the deputies that patrol West Peoria. And I ask you to talk to all of them, and they'll tell you, we need a change in the state's attorney's office. We need to be more diligent. We need to be more aggressive when it comes to prosecution. And I've been a prosecutor. And these members of law enforcement will tell you, when they go out and do the work they do, they need a friend at the courthouse who's going to help them. And I don't promise you elect me and everything's going to change overnight. That's not going to happen. But I will tell you this, we'll be more aggressive, we'll bring new initiatives. I'm the only one that has a plan on how we can do things differently. And I'm happy to be here tonight, and I look forward to talking to you about my plan and what I think we can do better for crime in Peoria and in West Peoria. So thank you.
Thank you. I'm Kevin Lyons. I'm the state's attorney in Peoria, and I appreciate the chance to be here too. I actually think that Darin and I probably did not recognize that we were going to exchange our views in a long time, but we haven't done that in some time, but we're glad to do that today. And I think West Peoria is a good place to do that. I want to say that I was raised in Hannah City, and I went to high school in Farmington, and I've been the state's attorney for 20 years, and before that, I was a public defender for 6 or 7 years, and I had a private practice for 6 or 7 years. I have a breadth of experience that's long and deep, but I would tell you that the state's attorney's office, to me, is about balance, and it's about judgment. It's a little bit of this and a little bit of that. It's simple. In fact, it's somewhat common to say that people who break the law should go to jail, and people that hurt somebody should go to prison. That's cookie cutter justice. There was a time in America, and I would submit even a time in Peoria, that anyone who had a domestic battery, for example, all had to go through some treatment, all had to be arrested, all had to get a conviction, all had to never be able to possess a firearm. And then we recognized that maybe, just maybe, we ought to do it the way that it had been done for 235 years. One case, one face, one person at a time. It doesn't move it through the pipeline a whole lot faster, but it moves it through the right way. Because people say to me all the time when they call, you know, no one really calls to wish me a nice day. They usually call because they want to make their case. They want to tell me, you know, my son, he's no common criminal. Why are you treating him like a common criminal? We do treat them as common criminals if everybody gets thrown into the cookie cutter batter and comes out because we don't treat them one case, one face, one name at a time. That's how America is. I would tell you this, that we talk about statistics, and I have an opponent that gives you statistics and talks about murders and recites murders. And then sort of as a PS says, oh, and we've only had 3 murders this year, but so under that theory, I should get credit for the fact that we only have 3 murders this year, but that really isn't how law and order works. Law and order works about how people behave. I don't get into the mind and the home of the criminal. They happen, and it happens. And the state's attorney's office is a part of the assembly line, and it is not the assembly line. I recognize that police officers many times don't just want to change the state's attorney, they want to change the equation. They want to go from here, the arrest, and move it down, and it'll all just take care of itself. But justice is a complicated thing. And I'm here to tell you that the thing that I do the best at the state's attorney's office is to hire the right people. People with a brain, people who can exercise judgment and exercise balance. I don't do this for a hobby. And I understand very well that 20 years is a long time. But I'm telling you this, I have an opponent who has never tried a single criminal case in the Peoria County Courthouse. Who do you want protecting your family in the event the unthinkable happens? This is what I do for a living, and I like it, and I do it not because I have nothing else to do. We want to talk about statistics. Here are my statistics. A 94% conviction rate for murder. Every person I have ever put into prison for murder is still there. And I want to tell you this, that in the event the unthinkable happens, we'll stand up to the plate and swing some more. I don't win them all. In every case we do, we don't do them all right, but every case is mine. And I try to do it with balance and with judgment. This is a complicated job, but it involves very simple people. And I hope that on November the 4th that you'll recognize that it involves people that put into it a little bit of this and a little bit of that so that the right thing results. I appreciate being able to be here in a campaign which I might add is good for everybody. A vigorous, vivid campaign is good for everybody. And I appreciate that we can talk about those things like ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you.